looking at 5 reasons why men feel they are not ready for marriage. Something that is worrisome, and I'm sure you've noticed that everywhere you look, at home, church, work, in the family, you see people who are, in quotes, supposed to be married, who say they are not ready to be married. They're already in their 30s, some are in their 40s, and unfortunately, some are even in their 50s, and they still think they are not ready for marriage. We want to understand what's the problem, what's making them unready for marriage, how can it be helped, can we change this mindset, can we get a shift in thinking so that people will think about getting married again in their 20s and not in their 50s. The first reason why a lot of men think they are not ready for marriage is what we call partner paralysis. Can I say it another way? It means people are paralyzed in the process of actually choosing a partner. It can be paralyzing. It's like when you are analyzing a subject, you could analyze yourself into some kind of dizziness, into some kind of paralysis. You know, a lot of people say they don't know who the right person is. They've not seen the right person. They don't think this person is the right person. They don't think that person is the right person. And then they get into confusion. If you are in your 20s, in your 30s, and you see a lot of people at work, you see a lot of people at church, you see a lot of people at family gatherings, social events, different places that you go, and all of them, and you are sincerely interested in getting married, and you are saying, out of all of the people you see, you don't still know who you are going to get married. It's beginning to look like you are getting into some type of paralysis because your descriptions, your imaginations of who your wife should be are conflicted. You see, you want somebody who is tall, and then sometimes you also want somebody who is fat, and then sometimes you want somebody who is not very tall, you want somebody who is earning a lot of money, you want somebody who will stay at home a lot of the time, you want somebody who will be good with children, you want somebody who will be good with numbers, you want somebody who will be good with everything, you know. So sometimes you are expecting things that may not even exist. You are expecting things that are conflicting. It's like saying, I want somebody from the north, I also want somebody from the south. It's not possible. You can't say, I want to marry somebody from the north, but she has to be from the south. You see, you have missed it. So a lot of times people get into this paralysis because your expectations are conflicting, your imaginations are conflicting. So you really don't know, you have not actually defined what is it exactly you want. Can I tell you what to know about that? The solution is this. You have to have 3 things that are most important to you. If one is important to you, is somebody who is going to be at home, take care of your children, not necessarily be at home 100% of the time, but maybe somebody that closes from work at about 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, comes home, spends time with the children with homework. You have to prioritize that. This is very important for me. If you also want somebody who can do some other things, maybe she can cook, you are native food, she can do you are this or do you are that. If that's very important for you, prioritize that. If you want somebody who is very tall or very big or a certain shape or a certain height or a certain color, prioritize that. By the time you get 3 or 4 basic things that must be in place, probably you are thinking you want the person to be from a certain place, you want the person to have a certain, by the time you have those 4 basic things that are very important, they are major for you. Then the smaller things that are less important, if you get them, fine. If you don't get them, they can be overlooked. They are not as important as the first 4. That doesn't mean they are not important at all. They are important, but they are not the major things. So you need to work on getting the major things in place. By the time the major things are in place, they can take care of your other things. Nobody is perfect. There's no perfect man. There's no perfect woman. You are not perfect yourself. So you will never get a perfect spouse. You will never get a perfect match, a perfect woman anywhere, or a perfect man. The second reason why a lot of men, a lot of young men in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and like I said before, even their 50s, think they are not ready for marriage. Mind my word, they think. It's not a fact. It's what they think, and that's why we're talking about it. They think they are not ready for marriage, even when they are ready for marriage. The second reason why they think so is what I call financial fantasies. When we think in our mind, we fantasize about our finances. We fantasize about what's possible, what's not possible, what we are going to do, what we are not going to do, how much we earn. We have this out of this world expectation of how much money we think we need to get married. Remember, you want to get married to somebody who has a job or who has a possibility of getting a job. If your wife is an undergraduate, or the person who you want to get married to is an undergraduate, or the person you want to get married to is a copper, or the person you want to get married to is already working, when you get married by the grace of God, it's going to be a merger to people, to salaries. Maybe you were renting different apartments, or maybe your wife or you living with your parents or something. Your income is going to come together. Even though some people will say, well, I want to take care of my wife and my money and those kind of thinking and all that. But you see, we need to solve this like a problem like calculus. You need to solve it. Why is it that a lot of people who actually earn money and they earn enough to start, that doesn't mean you earn several millions, you earn enough to start, you still tie it down thinking you are not ready, and you are late 30s, and you are early 40s, and you're still saying you are not ready. It's not because you are not ready, it's because you are thinking that you are not ready, because you have set for yourself unrealistic goals. You're probably thinking, how much is an event center? An event center is 1 million naira, 1.1 million, 1.5, 2 million. Some of them are even 3 million. Since when did it become compulsory that everybody who gets married must go to an event center? It's our thinking, it's our imagination, it's our fantasy that you must go to an event center, that you must rent a certain type of house, that you must buy a certain kind of gown, you must buy a certain kind of suit, you must invite a certain number of friends who will attend. You see, all these things are fantasies. Fantasies can freeze you. So what the fantasies will do is you are frozen the whole of your 20s. You are like fish in a freezer, frozen perfectly. You can't do nothing because you are fantasizing. How much am I going to invest into loan? How much am I going to pay for in-laws? How much am I going to pay for that? How much am I going to pay for that? How much am I going to pay for that? If you continue to fantasize these things instead of coming down to what matters, what's the most important thing? Do you have an accommodation? Do you have a job? If the answer is true, you are ready to get married. You have a job, so you earn a certain amount of money, and it doesn't have to be millions. You have an accommodation, a residence where you live. If you have these two things, you are ready to get married. The next point, which is divorce doubts. Divorce doubts, that's the third point. You know, with the rate of divorce around us, I mean, let's be very serious here. It's a problem. A lot of people think about that. Maybe there's somebody you know who got married and the marriage didn't work. Maybe an uncle, maybe an aunt, maybe even your parents. You know, people that are close to you. Sometimes it could be a pastor. Somebody got married in the first 5 years. Sometimes even in the first 3 years, the marriage crashed. And they happen close to you. You know them very well. And it's like a shock. It's like a trauma. You know, it's like a shell shock. They were close to you. You knew the man. He was very happy. All of a sudden, they got married. And then in 3 years alone, in 5 years, before 10 years, the marriage ended. And it brought a lot of pain. It brought a lot of misery. It brought a lot of unfortunate, ugly things. And you saw it very close. Maybe you were even living with him. Maybe you were living with them when it happened, and you saw up close how ugly the divorce was. And that could make you think, am I ready for this? What if this happens to me? What if I get married and my own goes like my uncle's marriage, or my aunt's marriage, or my sibling, or my whoever that's close to you? So that's another thing that people think about, you know, the ugliness of divorce. But that shouldn't paralyze young men. If you're a young man or a young woman and you are marriage age, you're supposed to be married. Supposed to be married. I don't want you to think about somebody that their marriage ended and say you will not get married. Think about it this way. Accidents happen everywhere. Road accidents, air accidents, they happen every day. And the people that are coming to help the people that were in that accident, they will fly to the location. An air accident happened, a road accident happened. We are sending help to them. How do they go there? They go in a vehicle. They go by road or they go by air. They don't say, well, a road accident just happened. An air accident just happened, an aeroplane just crashed, so we're not going to fly to go do our duty. No. Because some marriage ended, unfortunately, and it's painful. And we're not downplaying that, we're not diminishing that by any means. It's very painful, it can be very ugly, especially when you are seeing it up close. It can actually get on some people and paralyze them for a very long time and put a fear, inordinate fear in them that will make them think, look, this my uncle was even a better man. He was even better prepared. He knew the Bible more than I. He did all that thing better. And see how his marriage ended. And me, that is not even as ready. You see, if you think that way, you have framed yourself for failure. You have framed yourself to fail. You are not your uncle. You are not your aunt. You are not your sibling. You are not anybody. Your wife is not their wife. Your situations and circumstances are very different. So, because somebody had a bad situation, you're not going to sit down every day and think, most likely if I get married, my marriage will crash. Most likely if I get married, it will not succeed because you'll be working against yourself. The fourth reason why men think they are not ready for marriage, and that will surprise you. Fourth reason are influencers. I'm going to say that again. Influencers. I told somebody, influencers are like influenza. So you've heard of the flu, they call influenza. You know, it's infectious. Who you are listening to will influence you. You know, there's a way the Bible puts it. The Bible says, being undeceived. Evil communication corrupts good manners. Evil communication corrupts good manners. So be careful how you hear, be careful who you hear, because the people that you listen to, the people that speak into your life, they're going to speak into your life what is in their life, just like the Bible says in the book of Ezekiel. When I listen to him, his spirit entered into me. We have a lot of influencers who don't want people to get married. Maybe because they have had a bad experience with marriage. Maybe because they are frustrated. Maybe because they are whatever reason. But you see, they are anti-marriage. They are speaking against marriage. When you listen to people say marriage is prison, marriage is scum, marriage is that, men are that, women are that, all they say is evil, negative things about marriage. And if they are the people you listen to, number one, you're going to begin to dislike marriage and getting married, because the things you are hearing, you are listening, it's going into your mind, it's shaping you. You are not just listening to them. What you don't realize is that they are shaping your thought pattern. They are shaping who you are. So if influencers are shaping who you are, they're going to shape you to who they are. I want you to hear that again. If influencers are shaping who you are, they're going to shape you to who they are. So if I'm an influencer and I think marriage is stupid, I say it, and you like me, and you listen to me, and you think I am sensible, give me 3 months. You're going to say in a discussion, marriage is stupid. Why? Because that's what I say. So you start to be like an echo chamber. You will echo what I say. Because you admire me, you think I know what I'm saying, you think I'm informed. That's why you need to filter the influencers you listen to. Every time you want to listen to an influencer, put a filter, and let that filter be the word of God. If you listen to influencers and you don't have a filter to filter what is coming from them, that means they give you garbage, you take the garbage. Whatever they give to you, they give you trash, you take the trash. And you start to take like whatever they are saying. Now get me correctly. That doesn't mean they are not positive influencers. Somebody will even call what I'm doing influencing. They are positive influencers, and I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about negative influencers. Anybody who tells you don't get married, marriage is prison, marriage is that, marriage is that, marriage is that, and you are listening to that, it's going to impact your thing. It's going to shift your mind. So somebody is telling you, your pastor is telling you, you should get married. Your parents are telling you, your body is telling you that you should get married. But somebody who thinks is better than you, more sophisticated than you, more knowledgeable than you, is telling you the opposite of that. And very soon, you will drop everything you know. You will put them in the trash. What you will not realize is that you are going to the trash. As you are dropping what you know, you are taking trash from the trash. That's the trash of the influencer. You're going to take that, put in your mind, and start to think, even if I'm going to get married, I'm still too young. Even if I'm not going to get married, it's not now, it's later. And you live in this illusion of later. You don't know, when is this letter going to be? Is it next year? Is it in 5 years? Is it in 10 years? So be careful of the influencers you listen to. Finally, that brings us to the last point, the 5th reason why men think they are not ready for marriage. Long after they've been ready. I'll say that again. Men think they are not ready long after they've been ready. The last reason is fear of commitment. Fear of commitment. Another way to say it is they choose freedom over wisdom. You like to have your time. You like to do your things. You like to manage yourself. Do what you like to do, where you like to do it, with whom you like to do it. You like to fool around with everybody you like to fool around with. Of course, you know that when you get married, someone is fooling around has to stop, and you don't like that. You still want your freedom. It's my money, it's my house, it's my car, it's my time, it's my this. You need to grow up from it's my to our. Because when you get married, it's not going to be my time, my money, my car, my mother, my father. You move to your wife, you and your wife being one. And I can tell you this if you don't know, a lot of men, they despise this. They are uncomfortable with it. That if you get married, you know, sometimes you can spend money and somebody else has to say, is this the best thing we can do with this money? Somebody has to ask you that. You're not used to that. I mean, you despise that idea of somebody asking you, is this the best thing we can do with this money? Is this the best thing we can do with this time? Is this the best thing? You value your freedom over the wisdom of God. And your freedom is not the freedom that comes from God. It's the freedom that comes from man to do what you want to be, you know, exactly who you want to be. Because the Bible says the two shall become one. Getting married will not make you one. And that means sometimes you have to think. It's not just about what I want. It has to now be what we want. And some people don't want that. And they think they are not ready because they are still thinking, am I ready to give up on this? Am I ready to give up on this? Am I ready to give up on this? And they are struggling with that. You need to understand. The Bible says two are better than one. No matter how good you are as one, the Bible says two are better than one. When you get married, you become two. You are going to be better because two are better than one. If this message has spoken to you, if it spoke to you in any way, I want you to share it with somebody else that you think this message will, and subscribe for more. See you in the next video. Thank you.